universally acknowledged that a zombie in possession of brains must be in want of more brains. Never was this truth more plain than in the recent attacks at Netherfield Park, in which an entire household was slaughtered by a horde of the living dead during a whist party.
Who goes there? Who goes there?
Darcy. Colonel Darcy.
No zombie bite marks on this pristine young body.
Father, how are you able to discern that the wound on my rib was from fencing?
Been at this a long time, my son.
I have no wound.
Lovely bid, Mr. Kingston. More sherry for Mr. Kingston, please. Darcy? Carry on. You have absolutely nothing to hide. Please, everyone, enjoy. Mr. Darcy.
Colonel Darcy and Mrs. Featherstone, I'm here on official business. There's been a report that somebody here has been bitten.
Surely not. There hasn't been a zombie incident in Hertfordshire for over 2 years. I assure you we've taken every precaution.
A newly infected zombie is almost impossible to detect. Until they've ingested their first human brains, at which point the transformation accelerates with every subsequent kill.
Yes, we are all well aware of how it works, Colonel Darcy. Well, are you quite satisfied?
Quite. Might I play a hand?
Of course.
Good evening.
So, shall we?
A potion?
Flies, Mum.
I beg your pardon?
Carrion flies. They're in the possession of but one truly enviable talent. The ability to detect dead flesh.
I've won the trick.
Very crafty player, Mr. Kingston.
I dare say the buzzing is frightfully loud.
It's not the buzzing that should concern you, madam, but rather when the buzzing stops.
Oh dear.
Is there anyone else present whom he would have had the opportunity to infect? A family member, perhaps? Good evening.
Mr. Kingston's niece is here.
There was no need to put that girl through Mr. Darcy's interrogation. Cassandra, come back!
Annabelle? Where are you? Annabelle?
It wasn't always like this, my dear daughters. As the century began, Britannia was rich with the fruits of worldwide trade. From the colonies there came not just silks and spices, but a virulent and abominable plague. Naturally, many suspected the French were to blame. Are you surprised? Once bitten, the newly infected were filled with an insatiable hunger for the brains of the living. Millions perished, only to rise again as legions of implacable undead. So certain did it seem the end of days had come that even the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are said to have ascended from hell. To protect the living, the Grand Barrier was built, a 100-foot wall encircling London. Then excavation began on the Royal Canal, a vast moat 30 fathoms deep surrounding both the city and its wall. The land twixt the 2 fortifications became known as the In-Between. At this time, it became fashionable to study the deadly arts of the Orient. Japan for the wealthy, China for the wise. In the Second Battle of Kent, one of the bridges across the Royal Canal was breached. Ravenous zombie hordes massacred every villager of the In-Between. It was said the sight of this slaughter drove young King George mad. When the battle was finally won, he ordered the destruction of all the bridges save one, Hingham Bridge, which to this day remains the only means by which to cross the Royal Canal. Many believed the enemy was finally vanquished. The gentry began to leave the safe confines of London's defences for their newly fortified country estates. But vigilance is still of the essence. Remember this, keep your swords as sharp as your wit, for the ultimate battle between the living and the undead has yet to be staged.
Mr. Bennet? Mr. Bennet, have you heard that Netherfield Park is occupied again? By a Mr. Bingley, a young, single man of large fortune. Mrs. Long says his income is 4,000 or 5,000 a year. He is attending the village dance tonight.
How does this concern our warrior daughters?
How can you be so tiresome? You know I mean for him to marry one of them.
Daughters do not dance well with masticated brains, Mrs. Bennet.
You, sir, have already put them at a decided social disadvantage by insisting they do their combat training in China as opposed to Japan.
The Chinese deadly arts have no equal.
I, for one, would trade nothing for my Shaolin training.
You mustn't speak like that, Lizzie.
I should like to go to the dance.
Do you think Mr. Bingley's handsome?
With his income, Lydia, you'd think him handsome if he had half a zombie face.
Sorry. You'll make me very, very happy.
Well, I suppose if we all go...
No, I don't care to be paraded like a herd of heifers at a farm auction.
That's because you're the cow.